It's Weekends with Jessie, a resource for the community. Black health is Black wealth. Saturdays at 10 a.m. Be the light.
All right. Good morning. Welcome to Weekends with Jessie. How is everyone? How is your week been? How have you been? Today we have an exciting and very informative and almost a deep personal episode today. I'm so excited to share with you what we're going to be talking about. So first, we're going to get right into it. We are going to Jessie's life lessons. I want to share with you a hedge of protection poem that I am going to share with you. Next up, we have our community health check, importance of mental health in the Black community, and we have our special feature, which we'll be having our returning guest, Miss Jasmine Baker, back with us to discuss about this topic. And if you are new listening to Weekends with Jessie, let me fill you in a little bit about what we do. So Weekends with Jessie is a community development program promoting healthy life and wealth in our community. This show is a resource for the Black community, educating viewers on health issues and providing access to a network of small Black business owners and entrepreneurs, providing support in healthcare. Now let's get into it. So today's life lessons, before, if you've seen previous episodes, I have been sharing like a verse or a message that I've encountered during my Bible study. But today, since it is Black History Month, and let me know if you like this, because I can do this for each episode for the month of February, or even throughout the year. Doesn't matter if it's Black History Month. But if you don't know, not only do I work in healthcare, but I'm also a poet and author. So I would love to share with you, with it being Black History Month, a poem that I wrote called Hedge of Protection.
To my future Black son and my future Black daughter, you came into this world without a notice, an offspring of love designed with a purpose. And it's sad to say the world, it's going to see your life as worthless. No, don't run from me. Don't run from Mama. These tears I shed are watered prayers from heaven, that you will be guided and have a hedge of protection. The glow of your melanin viewed as a threat in their eyes. They may smile like a sheep, but they're a wolf in disguise, though they never want to see you do well and arise. I say this to you with all of my unconditional love. You gotta do twice as much to get one step ahead. I say this to you as my son and as my daughter. Remember who you are, products of your mother and father, and your ancestors will walk with you one foot in front of the other. To my future Black son and my future Black daughter, you came into this world without a notice, an offspring of love designed with a purpose. And I will fight for you so you won't have to go through it. Remember, you are strong, you are worth it, you are beautiful, and you are brave, and no one will ever take that away.
So let me know in the comment section down below, how do you feel about that poem? What resonated with you? How did you feel about it? Do you feel that this is a topic that needs to be discussed in the Black community? We have Keith the entrepreneur saying, "Oh, love that, powerful." Thank you so much, Keith. We also have Coach Raquel saying, "Awesome, thank you so much, everyone." I remember writing this poem about 2 years ago. And it was during the time of when there was a lot of violence going on and murders happening with young Black men and young Black people. And I wrote it and I was tired. I was tired, and I was scared. And if you remember, if you're on social media, It was during that time when we just did like the black screen, and just put like "We Are Tired." That was during a time period I did not know how to express my emotions. And I'm still welled up from it. I didn't know how to express it. I was done. I was mentally done, tired, and I wrote it out like that. I was scared for my future children. So that is an ode to my future son and my future daughter, a hedge of protection. Mom is going to cover you. Keith says, is that in your book? No, this poem is not in my book. My book that I have, if it could be pulled up on the screen. I don't have it right now with me. I would have to go get it. But my book is called Laced in Love. One day on the show, we can talk about that. But that poem specifically is not in my book. That book is more based on love. I am in the process, probably not until 2023, 2024, of writing my second book called Cocoa Soil. And that poem will be in that. But yes, we are going to get right into our community health check now. So in our community health check, we explore health-related issues, there we go, and connect with community leaders who are bringing solutions to today's health challenges. If you have any questions at all or need help connecting with a health professional, please email us at info@familyalltheway.com. Now, today we'll be having a conversation on the importance of mental health in the Black community. This conversation is being discussed due to the recent death of Regina King's son and Miss USA 2019, Chelsea Christ. I want to preface that this information that I'm about to share with you today is coming from the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Now, while the experience of being Black, not only in America, but across the world varies, there are shared cultural factors that impact our mental health, healing, and well-being. And part of this shared experience may originate from family connections. Excuse me. Not only just family connections, but also values, the way we express ourselves through music, spirituality, dependence on community and religious organizations like church, mosque, or any other religious organizations and gatherings, which can be great sources of support and strength. Though another part of that, such as discrimination, racism, classism, colorism, and there's only a few examples that I'm listing here, that significantly impact a person's mental health outside of their own traumas that they have to endure during this journey we call life. According to the Health and Human Services Office of Minority Health, Black adults in the United States are more likely than white adults to report symptoms of emotional distress, such as sadness, hopelessness, and feeling as if everything is an effort. Even though it is needed in the community, 1 in 3 Black adults who need mental health care receive it. Only 1 in 3, everyone. They are also less likely to receive guided, consistent care, less frequently included in research, and more likely to just use ER or primary care. There are also socioeconomic disparities that hinder mental health care. A study in 2019 showed that 11.5% of Black adults in the U.S. had no form of health insurance. Also, in the Black community, there is a heavy negative stigma around mental health conditions. A study showed that 63% of Black people believe that mental health is a sign of personal weakness. And due to this, people may experience shame of having mental illness and worry that they may be discriminated against due to it. 63% of Black people show a sign of weakness. I want to say that because, yes, we have Sat and Brownie saying all the isms and schisms, yes. Because 63% is just, imagine a Black family. And and I'm saying just a mom and a dad, 63%. The chances of you having at least one parent that may have a mental illness but does not see the help that he or she may need. How many of us have dealt with that? Maybe a lot of us, maybe at least 50% of us are going through it or notate we are now emotionally able to see, hey, my dad had emotional issues. My mom had emotional issues, emotional trauma that they didn't heal from. And they may have brought it on to me, but they're not talking about it. And I think that is something that needs to be discussed. And we're going to have that today with our special guests. We have our special returning guest, Miss Jasmine C.L. Baker. And now Miss Jasmine C.L. Baker obtained her BA in Sociology from Michigan State University. She is currently pursuing her master's degree in professional counseling from Concordia University in Wisconsin. She's an author and business owner, having started her Christian grief coaching business, On Purpose Global Enterprises LLC in April 2020. Her mission is to create safe spaces for women to recover and rediscover their purpose following a significant loss. Welcome to the show, Ms. Baker. Thank you so much for coming on. Again, it is wonderful to have you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be excited to be back.
Yes, I love your shirt. For our listeners that are listening, she's wearing such a cute yellow shirt today. I wish I had my glasses on because we could have been matching with the dreads and everything. I love it. I love it. So we're going to talk about a really important issue. I know we could dig a little, even deeper with this. I want to start with kind of a 2-in-1 question. Why is healing from our trauma necessary as a Black person? And also, why is it important for us to show feeling, to show emotion to our Black children? Because I feel in the community, Black children and non children in general look up as parents as superheroes, but I don't see mom cry. I don't see mom get angry and then explain to me, hey, mama gets angry too. We don't see them as human. Why is it important for our parents to heal from their traumas first?
It's important for parents to heal from their traumas first because you can't give what you don't have, one, and you can't give what you don't know. And so if we're consistently experiencing traumas we're not healing from, that's what you're going to give from. That's what you're going to give off. And that's what, people are going to take from us. So when you have children, they're going to be loved from the space of your trauma, not from the space of your healing. And so it's important to heal from that. I tell, clients this all the time in my sessions. It's important to heal from that because you don't want your children to repeat that same cycle. So getting into the next part of the question where, how important is it for us to be vulnerable with our children? It's very important because they learn from us first. And so oftentimes we grow into adults based off of what we learned as children. And that's, what we get to as when we're older. So like you said, if mom never cried, I'm not going to cry because maybe I don't even know that I should cry, that I can cry. I just don't know that. That environment was not fostered for me. So I don't feel safe or even have the tools to know how to do that. So we have to create these spaces and environments for our children to show them it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be frustrated. This is how you navigate through that and be really in tune with your emotions, maybe what triggers that certain emotion, how to get through it. These are all things that I work with my clients through, but it's just important that we give them the necessary tools to be healthy adults later on in life.
Wow. How do we trigger some of those traumas unknowingly in people? Can we?
We definitely can. One example is, say you had a child who was always silenced at home. They were never given the opportunity to express themselves. We know in the Black community, stay in a child's place, like children aren't allowed to speak. So you have that child who maybe is trying to get out of that, and they're trying to learn how to express themselves, and they start to talk, and then somebody else shuts them down. And then now they're back in that space of, okay, I'm not allowed to talk. I can't say anything. I'm going to be quiet again. And then you're looking at this child like, why are you always so quiet? Well, every time I try to speak, it shuts me down. And so now I've learned how to just be quiet and not express myself because I don't want to be shut down anymore.
Wow, that hit a little emotion, little Jessie, a little bit. Wow. Can you tell us this, because I feel that a lot of in the Black community that we're silent from our trauma. How does one prevent or learn of ways to not cope, but be empowered to speak? Because that silent pain may lead to, I'm not sure if this is okay to say on air with broadcasting, but may lead to detrimental effects that we may have in our life, may due to ourselves or due to others.
Right. So it's important because, I'm sorry, restate the question for me again at the beginning of it.
So how is it important? Why is it important for us to learn how to prevent the silent pain from taking over us? Why is it important for us to be okay to speak?
So it's important because we can't keep walking around like we're okay when we're not okay. That's how we get to the situation of the young lady who was Miss Universe, I believe. Have her situation. Everybody thought she was okay. Yeah. She literally had just posted on her Instagram this really inspiring message. Nobody knew anything was wrong, and then what happened with her happened. That's when we're not talking about it. We're pretending like we're okay. We're going around like our normal days, and either we haven't placed ourselves around the right people who know us enough to say, "Hey, something is wrong," or we don't give them the opportunity to, because we just put this mask on all the time and give people the impression that we're okay. We can't be helped if people don't know that we need help. So we either have to open up our mouths and say we need help, or we need to have people around us who can tell when something is off and will force us into spaces where we talk about it. That's one. Then us being people who can support, we have to be aware of people who are close to us when things start to slightly change. Hey, I started to notice this and the third. What's going on? Are you okay? Let's go get something to eat. Like that, so we can check in with people. Like we see this all the time. Your strong friends. No, just check on people. Period. Like just check on people. So I think that's really important.
We have a couple questions from Satin Brownie that says, what can one do to come into awareness of their triggers? How important is self-awareness overcoming trauma?
I think becoming aware of your triggers is something that you would need a coach or a therapist for, because the thing about our triggers is we often don't recognize them as triggers. We think that they're normal. And unless somebody points that out to say, hey, that's a trigger for you, you might never realize it. So that's when you need somebody to kind of come along and help you with that. And then it's important to be self-aware of trauma, because like the question we got to before about people unknowingly triggering us, and we're already aware of things like that. If it comes up, we're not as triggered because we knew that was something that might set us off. So if you get to the point where somebody has helped you identify triggers, then when somebody unintentionally does it, excuse me, not saying it won't trigger you at all, but you have the tools and be equipped on how to handle it.
We have another question from her that says, how can people learn how to truly listen? Are we listening well enough? Sometimes we speak, but the people will even look at us. Sometimes we speak, but the people will even look at us and tell us what we say about our own feelings isn't what it is.
Yeah. So I think we have to understand that people are still human. And this is where we have to elicit professionals in our lives, because we can't expect people to always know what to say or always know how to support us when everybody's trying to figure it out, especially in the midst of this pandemic. We're literally everybody's just trying to make it. Everybody's trying to survive, and people always mean well. But just because you mean well doesn't mean that you're actually helping. So if you're at the point of where you're trying to express yourself and nobody's getting it, again, I would seek help, because then you have somebody like me or, a therapist or something like that, who we are trained to listen and to identify and to validate what you're feeling. I understand this. Let's figure this out. Like we're the ones who are actually equipped to be that person. As much as we want our friends to be that, they're not trained to. They're human just like we're human. And a lot of times we want to hold them at fault. But we can't hold somebody at fault for something that they're not trained or understand to do. Like sometimes we think it's basic human, but people are raised differently. And when we understand that people are raised differently, we can't hold them to something that they honestly might not know how to do.
Yeah. I know Satin Brownie said, have you ever had that experience? I'm not 100% sure in relation to that, but I could tell you one thing for me personally, Satin, I realized men's tones, specifically how men speak to me in a state of expression that could almost teeter the line of like anger, but they're trying to give me advice. I was like, you need to calm down and tell me when we could communicate like straight to, regular, straight to straight, like just have a conversation, because the minute that they have that force, I can't, I don't compute. I get very defensive. We have Coach that wants to call in. Coach Raquel, are you in? Coach? In the meantime, I think she wanting to come in, but in the meantime, while she's getting,
I was calling you
Coach.
On your phone.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
My bad. I heard something, but I didn't get it. Okay.
That's okay. I just really would like to, that question, that was me asking the question, and I just want to, I'd love to get your answer to it. So what I'm trying to ask is, I wasn't able to write it effectively. But what I'm trying to ask is, in some cases where you're interacting with people on a regular basis, say it's a friend, a family member, somebody you work with, where you're actually expressing yourself, because sometimes persons will say, I didn't even know they were thinking that way. But how can we put ourselves in the position that if someone who's close to us is going through something, that we're actually listening to them? While there is the importance of seeking help, but I think what I'm talking about is interacting on a daily basis, on a regular basis. For example, I've had the experience multiple times where I'll say, I'm feeling this, and someone tries to proceed to tell me that's not what I'm feeling. Not that they don't say it that way, but they'll be like, oh no, you're not. Oh gosh, you're not like that. And I'm like, I just said that though. How can we become caretakers of each other, not health providers, but thoughtful health supporters? I don't know if I'm asking it right, but that's the issue, because it's something that what I do is I simply remove myself, because for me, in my environment, I'm in control of what happens with me. But what about other persons who may not even understand, or even the persons who may not understand how they're projecting that is causing them to lose you? Because I've been suicidal for a long time, for a lot of years of my life. And persons would say, oh my gosh, well, and I'm like, but I've said it around you often, even with having children, I'll say, I'm good. I don't want to give birth. And one of the closest persons to me who I've just disconnected with, she would just constantly say, oh no, you're going to have kids. And it's this, I'm asking because I think a lot of persons, it's too common. And if you could shed some light on it, it would be so good. How do we become better stewards of each other and each other's hearts and minds, or whatever, or well-being? Yeah, that's I'm gonna say and go. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I think in the space of grief, I do talk about this a lot, because initially when you experience any type of loss, people like to offer their words of encouragement. And a lot of times what they're saying is just not helpful at all. But we feel the need to just take on what they're saying and like, oh, thank you, I appreciate it, when really it's not helpful. So what I've started to tell my clients is if it's not helpful, tell them it's not helpful. Because how else are they going to know what they're saying? What they're saying is hurting you or however it's making you feel unless we let them know. So in the instance where we're talking to people and we're saying, in the example that she gave, I don't ever want to give birth, and the friend is like, oh no, you're going to have children. That's an opportunity to be like, okay, listen, have a conversation. I just told you I don't have any desire to have children. But you continuing to say that to me, it makes me feel like you're not listening. And if you're going to continue not listening, then that might cause me to distance myself from you. And I don't want you to feel like I just up and left. I'm trying to explain myself to you and you're really not understanding me. And that's making me frustrated. Like the more we explain to people what we're feeling, they have to take ownership of that at some point. And then if it gets to the point of where they're learning, like, okay, thank you, I get it. And then we're able to continue moving on. Or they don't have the capacity to be that for me. And then that's fine. I'm not upset with you. I'm just going to split ways and we just can't be that close anymore because I don't want that type of energy. So the more we tell people how what they're saying is hurting us, affecting us, things like that, and we're giving language to what they're doing to us, it gives them the opportunity to either one, learn from it, or two, give us the opportunity to walk away.
Yes, and I think that just Satin had a question, but I think you just explained exactly what her question was. She said she was saying how when you do so repeatedly, but they continue, is that a sign you should let that person go? Yes. And she also said exactly, exiting a relationship is always an option. Yes, always. We also have Keith, the entrepreneur, that said, I have made the mistakes in the past looking for something from the wrong person and realize eventually that all needed to redirect my need. Yes, Keith. We also have him asking a question. This might be our last question. How important is it to do a diagnostic to see if we're living from a place of trauma, even if we feel normal?
So important because our trauma feels normal because we've had it for so long. So it's literally our normal. There's no way to know it's trauma unless somebody identifies it for us as trauma. So something we just think like, oh, I'm this way, I'm just that way because I'm that way. No, you're that way because of a previous trauma that you experienced. And when somebody identifies that and they can walk you back to that exact moment of when that happened, you're like, oh, I just thought I responded that way to people just because. Nope, you had a traumatic experience that developed this trauma response. That's we have trauma responses. Mm-hmm. That's where they come from. Yeah. Events that we experience. So it's so important to be diagnosed so that we don't make our traumas normal because they're not. They don't have.
Yes, we have Satin Browning that says trauma is usually what people call quote unquote normal. There is no real quote unquote normal in life. Life is an every changing process. Yes. And with that being said, we are, do we have some time left? I think we're wrapping up, but Jasmine, I want people to know, how can they connect with you? How can they connect with you to heal themselves? You let our viewers know.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at Jasmine C.L. Baker. So my name right here, just without the periods, is my Instagram handle. And then my website is www.onpurpose, PURPOSE, G as in global, E as in enterprises.com. That's how you can see what all my programs are, my services, how much I charge, all of that. My Instagram bio has a link in there where I do have a podcast that I do. I also have a free Facebook community, and then my book is going to be coming out soon as well. So any of that you can find on my Instagram, but my website specifically is where you can find my coaching services. I'm going to be having a class coming out soon. So anything you want to do with that, you can reach out to me or just send me a DM on Instagram and we can link there.
Awesome. And for our viewers and listeners, you could head right over to UMERADIO.com. Watch this episode. The information will be right in the details in the description box down below. Thank you so much, Jasmine, for coming on to our show today. It is absolutely wonderful to have you as a returning guest. I hope this is not the last time. This would not be last time. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Bye. All right, everyone. Where did the time go? Where did it go? I absolutely love having her on. It is absolutely wonderful to be a support and be a connection for you. And if any of you, any of our listeners, any of our viewers want to reach out to us for recommendations of Black professionals who can provide the services that they need, just go to www.familyalltheway.com. And if you are a Black professional that is listening right now that has services for the community, again, you could go to www.familyalltheway.com, sign up as a member, and create a professional profile. This resource for you is completely free, everyone. And with that being said, I am Jessie. I want you to like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live. I love you. Bye, everyone.
Are you ready for the weekend?
Weekends on UME Radio. Get the UME Radio app.
Weekends on UME Radio. The sun is up and so are we. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Facebook, all at UME Radio.
UME Radio. Positive entertainment 24/7. Subscribe on YouTube and click the notification bell.